Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm Tom Insole, the director of the NIMH, and it's a real pleasure to welcome you to this celebration, the first we've done, actually, for Children's Mental Health Day here at NIMH. We've got many people in the room. I think there will still be some joining us, and there are many, many more people available by webcast. I think we have something like 600 people who have signed up, so they'll be joining, and many have already sent in questions, which we'll be hearing in a few minutes. This event is actually only part of what's going on as the local celebration for Children's Mental Health Day. In addition to this research forum, SAMHSA, along with the Office of the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the chairman of the National Endowment for the Arts, as well as the American Art Therapy Association, are co-sponsoring an event this evening. So some of you who are local may still want to take that in. It's called Building Resilience in Young Children Dealing with Trauma. And it's an evening of art and discussion at the Shakespeare Theater, the Harmon Center for the Arts in D.C. from 7 to 9 tonight. It'll be co-hosted by Byron Pitts, who's the CBS News chief, and Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress. So it should be an interesting evening. Here what we'll do is take the next, maybe hour and a half to have a chance to field your questions and hear from some of the local experts here at NIMH about some very specific issues related to children's mental health. I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to say why we're bothering to do this and why this is important. And I guess from our perspective, there are at least three good reasons. The first is just this explosion of prevalence, just the huge number of kids affected today with either emotional or behavioral problems that begin in childhood. Over the past decade, we've seen this increase in mood disorders, anxiety disorders, and particularly in autism. Today, we're looking at figures of about 1 in 5 children affected with some emotional or behavioral problem, which is kind of an extraordinary number. It's more than the number of kids struggling with asthma or diabetes or virtually any other childhood medical problem that's chronic. So we do have a challenge. The second issue is the scientific insight that we have now that even adult mental disorders are often illnesses that began in childhood. And we know this from a large-scale epidemiological study done by NIMH in the past decade, where community sample was studied in great detail, and it was discovered that 50% of adults with a mental illness talked about onset by age 14 and 75% by age 24. So these really are increasingly seen as the chronic disorders of young people. It's today at NIMH, the sort of mantra is that we think about these disorders: schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression,